All right, let's jump right in. We're heading back to 1962 to a Dutch crime novel that did something pretty incredible. It didn't just tell a story. Nope. It completely rewired the DNA of the whole detective genre.
See this book, Love in Amsterdam? It asks this really radical question. It makes you think, what if the most compelling mystery isn't some puzzle of clues and alibis? What if it's actually a deep and, yeah, often messy exploration of the human heart?
Okay, so here's the lowdown. Nicolas Freeling published this back in '62, and let me tell you, this is not your typical fast-paced thriller. It's what you'd call literary crime fiction. It's for those of us who really want to get into the psychology behind the crime. And the way it does this, well, it uses this incredible three-part structure that's basically like a psychological dig. And this right here, this is the core of its genius. You know how traditional crime fiction is always about who did it? Well, Freeling just flips the script completely. He asks something way deeper, something almost unsettling. How on earth can something as beautiful as love turn into a weapon?
So, how do we answer a question like that? Well, Freeling gives us this amazing tool, a concept we're going to call psychological archaeology. This is the heart of the book, right here. It's not about fingerprints or DNA. It's about carefully digging through the layers of someone's memory, their emotions, to find the real story that's very deep down. So, let's grab our tools and excavate that first layer. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The interrogation isn't some clumsy, blunt instrument. No, it's a surgeon's scalpel. Every single question is precise. It's designed to peel back another layer of denial, another layer of self-deception, until you get to that raw, undeniable emotional truth. So, here's the big insight. Truth isn't just about the facts, it's about the feelings. And the practical takeaway from this? Oh, it's huge. Think about it. In any conflict, any misunderstanding in your own life, just imagine shifting your question from that accusatory "what did you do" to a more curious "what did you feel?" That one change can completely transform the conversation and get you right to the heart of the matter. Okay, let's dig into the next layer. And wow, this one's a doozy. It's about love itself. This quote, it just perfectly captures that seductive danger of a toxic relationship. The character, Elsa, she's not just a person. She's described as a force of nature, a storm. She's this whirlwind of chaos that our suspect has completely mistaken for passionate love. And this leads us to something so important. We all do it, right? We romanticize these super intense, dramatic relationships. But Freeling is here to warn us that what looks like passion is often just chaos in a very convincing disguise. So what's the lesson for us? It's about learning to spot the difference between the deep, steady warmth of a campfire and the destructive, out-of-control burn of a wildfire. All right, time for layer 3, and we're going deep now. Forget physical evidence, it's almost irrelevant here. The real proof, the smoking gun, it's not a fingerprint on a weapon. It's found inside the suspect's own heart. His memories, his regrets, they're the ones that take the stand and testify against him. The big takeaway here is that our emotions have a truth to them, even when our words don't. Think about your own feelings, that little pang of regret you get, that flash of anger. Those aren't random. They are powerful signals pointing to a deeper truth about what's really driving you. So, if you really want to understand yourself, you gotta start by listening to those signals. So all of this brings us to the detective, Inspector van der Valk. And this quote, man, it just completely rewrites his job description. He's not some brilliant puzzle solver who just pieces together clues. No, he's more like an empathetic psychologist. His real genius lies in understanding how an ordinary person, someone just like you or me, can find themselves on a path leading into darkness. And this shows us something amazing. Empathy is the ultimate investigative tool. It really is. So next time someone acts in a way that just baffles you, try this. Instead of just judging the action, dig a little deeper. Ask yourself what fear, what insecurity, what unmet need could possibly be driving this. I guarantee you that's where you'll find the real answer. And here we are at the final, deepest layer of the truth. What we learn is that a crime is never just an isolated event. It's the messy, tragic climax of a whole ecosystem of tangled emotions. The detective's real job isn't to find a culprit. It's to gently, patiently unravel all those threads of obsession, jealousy, and longing to finally see the whole, complicated picture.
The main point, then, is that real justice, real understanding, isn't about pointing a finger at one person. It's about seeing the whole system, all the connections and resentments that led to the breaking point. So in any conflict, big or small, try to stop fixating on the one thing that happened. Instead, look for the underlying patterns. That's where true resolution begins.
So how can we actually use all this? Well, let's boil it down into something we can call the van der Valk method. It's a simple 3-step toolkit. Step 1, replace those accusatory questions with questions about emotion. Step 2, practice a little psychological archaeology on other people before you jump to conclusions. And step 3, maybe the hardest but most important one, apply that same emotional excavation to yourself, to your own motivations and choices. Okay, but is the book perfect? Look, of course not. Nothing is. Its strengths are massive. I mean, the psychological structure is a total game changer, and it basically created the template for modern European crime fiction. But you also have to remember, it's a product of its time. Some of the 1960s social attitudes can feel a bit off now. The pacing is very slow, very deliberate, and honestly, it asks a lot from you as a reader. You really need to bring your emotional A-game.
So with all of that in mind, our final grade for Love in Amsterdam is a solid 7.9 out of 10.
And let's break that down for you. For content quality, we gave it an 8.5 because that psychological structure is just revolutionary. For impact, a massive 9.0. I mean, it transformed an entire genre. Practical applicability is really strong too, at a 7.5, because that method for understanding conflict is so useful. What holds it back a little is the writing clarity, a 7.0, just because of some of those dated elements. But overall, this is a seriously important and insightful book. So if this kind of deep psychological dive is your jam, you are in luck. If you want a similar vibe, that mix of gritty police work and deep social commentary, you've got to check out the Swedish classic, The Laughing Policeman. And if you want a modern masterpiece that's all about emotional motivation, but with almost mathematical precision, then you absolutely must read Kigo Higashino's The Devotion of Suspect X. Seriously, go read it.
And that brings us to one last question to leave you with. After all this talk about psychological archaeology, the real question isn't about the characters in a book anymore, is it? It's about us. It's about your life. So whose heart will you try to understand first? Maybe, just maybe, you'll start with your own. Hey, thanks so much for digging deep with us on this one. If you got something valuable out of this explainer, you know what to do. Make sure you follow, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the ideas that shape our world. We'll catch you on the next one.